Hey folks, Trace Monk here, playing some more Final Fantasy X HD. As you'll notice, we are in post-commentary hyperspeed. This episode is going to mostly consist of some, I don't really want to call it grinding, but it's mostly getting some money in the Omega Dungeon. Yeah, mostly getting some money, but also getting some levels. Basically, we need money. We need to be able to outfit our armor, and in order to do that with what we want, we need money to bribe monsters. Most specifically, we need money for Chocobo Wings to get auto haste. Of course, we also need some money for the armors themselves, unless we luck out and get them as drops, which you can get them from, I think, like the Adamantoises, and I think there might be a monster inside Sin that you can get them from too, but definitely the Adamantoises can drop them. Ran into some of those. You will also probably notice a time or two here where I get a game over. It's mostly due to, crap like this here, where we managed to, I don't think that was a game over, but it is basically one of those things where we get into a fight with like a Demonlith or a Great Marlboro, and they inflict us with status effects that are bad. That's actually going to be another bit that we run into here later, where we form up some armor to help defend against those statuses. Now here we are, because up until now we haven't actually captured one of the Maquia enemies. Oh yeah, the spirits also caused us some trouble once, because their poison mist inflicts poison, and I think has a chance to inflict confuse, and it inflicted confused on just enough of us to, cause issues. See there, we've moved Yuna over into Lulu's grid via a friend sphere. One of the slightly more annoying things about this entire process has been the idea of keeping Riku in when we fight the mimics. You need to do that because her weapon has Gillionaire on it, which will double the amount. If you fight a mimic in the Omega Dungeon, they drop 50,000 gil and I think like no AP. Gillionaire doubles that to 100,000, which is really handy. So it basically means you need to kill about 4 mimics to get between 45 and 60 Chocobo Wings, which is a lot of mimics to outfit an entire party with auto haste armor. And now we're going over here to fight the Maquia. The first bribe goes off without a hitch, but then I kind of make a mistake and bribe a few, or yeah, do a bribe once or twice, and it just doesn't seem to want to work. You know, it misses, and yeah, wasted some gil that way. So note to everybody, save before you bribe, and don't be afraid to reload your save. So at this point, I'd gotten incredibly perturbed at all the status effect issues, and had decided that I needed to get some Stone-proof, Berserk-proof, and Confuse-proof armor. Stone-proof we had stuff for. Berserk-proof requires, I believe, the use of Hypello potions, and Confuse-proof requires the use of musks. The best way to get Hypello potions is by bribing some of the little tanky enemies, and the best way to get musks is either bribing some of the floating eye enemies, or simply fighting and stealing from the floating deaths that appear in the Omega Dungeon. You can steal 4 musks from them in a go. It really seems to me like you can steal about 4 or 5 times before it becomes incredibly difficult to steal from them any further. So I developed this little pattern of, having Kimahri and Riku out, because they're the ones that just have plain old steel. And then I'd haste god them with Tidus, slow the floating death, and slow Tidus, so that you just get a lot of steals. And then once you get to about 4 or 5 steals on it, I was just getting to where I'd use Mug on Tidus, and then whenever the Mug landed, well, that's when the fight was over. Doing that, it was pretty much every 2 or 3 fights I was able to use the 48 musks that I needed to create the Confuse-proof on the armor. So I created a set of Stone-proof, Berserk-proof, and Confuse-proof armor for Tidus, Wakka, and Auron, given that they're the ones that have my capture equipment. I'm not sure if it's worthwhile to try to do something like put death proof on it. I don't know, that just doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense to me. Anyway, folks, that's about enough getting items and armor going. We're going to spend the next 3 episodes of this getting Wakka's World Champion fitted out. So, join me the next few times for Blitzball. Blitzball, 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 and then no more Blitzball for the rest of the run. See you then.